keep in mind that they're changing my voice since the Jews sent some Hispanic gang member to kind of put his nose up to kind of threaten me to say that they're above me. I'll remind you that I'm above all the Jews that ever were, ever will be, all put together, and infinitely so. And that goes for the English, the whites, the LGBT, you name it. Hope you people are proud of yourselves, and also everyone in the cult, obviously, and by far. Genesis 12, the call of Abram. The Lord had said to Abram, "Go from your country, your people, and your father's household to the land I will show you. I will make you into a great nation. I will bless you. I will make your name great, and I will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you, I will curse. And all peoples on earth will be blessed through you." So cursed is anyone who doesn't interpret it my way. Abraham is a play on words for the exalted father, the father of many nations, Ham. Okay, and referring to the specific part of Ham, the king of Ham. Ham begot Cush, Cush begot Nimrod, the exalted part of Ham, the son of God, the top martial arts ever possible. We'll see that I'm right here as we get to, between Genesis 12 and Genesis 21 and 22, by the time we get to Abraham is tested, you'll see definitively that I'm right. And how you've seen it interpreted in popular culture is wrong, how the people in Judaism interpret it is wrong, all the churches, the mosques, they all interpret it wrong. Okay. So Abram went as the Lord had told him, and Lot went with him. Abram was 75 years old when he set out from Haran. He took his wife Sarai, his nephew Lot, all the possessions they had accumulated, and the people they had acquired in Haran. Then he set out for the land of Canaan, and they arrived there. Abraham traveled through the land as far as the site of the great tree of Moreh at Shechem. At that time the Canaanites were in the land. The Lord appeared to Abram and said, "To your offspring or seed I will give this land." So he built an altar there to the Lord who had appeared to him. From there he went on toward the hills of Bethel and pitched his tent, with Bethel on the west and Ai on the east. There he built an altar to the Lord and called on the name of the Lord. He's calling on the principles of God. Notice he's calling on the name of the Lord, unlike the last chapter where they try to make a name for themselves. Now again, there's a way to interpret it in a way that Abram is magically evil, but the main interpretation, and it has to take you to the same way. It has to explain things the same way. It's just, what does this name mean? What does this story mean? Okay, what is the moral of the story? How do we get there? It has to do with that. Okay. So then Abram set out and continued toward the Negev. Abram in Egypt. Now there was a famine in the land, and Abram went down to Egypt to live there for a while because the famine was severe. As he was about to enter Egypt, he said to his wife Sarai, "I know what a beautiful woman you are. When the Egyptians see you, they will say, 'This is his wife,' and they will kill me, but will let you live." Now, I don't approve of this story, okay? I don't appreciate this story. I don't approve of it. But it does highlight that a huge problem in the world, and a huge problem that's been there for a long, long time, as far as anyone can remember, is that people don't practice romantic justice, okay? I don't think it's right to make it seem like Abraham is not punished for this. And in a sense he is, as his offspring are, and part of the story later on is his offspring are punished for his insufficiency. We see that with King David. We see that with the tribe of Benjamin at one point. We see that with the sexual immorality that's being practiced by the Jews again and again, which goes back to what this covenant of circumcision is and isn't. So God makes a covenant with Abraham where he says they have to be circumcised in heart, and it's symbolized by the flesh. And we know that because of Jeremiah, Isaiah, Jesus, you name it, where they say that lip service is not enough. Mere circumcision of your flesh is not enough. Your heart has to be circumcised. And we see that phrase being used in the Bible, right? That they're not circumcised in heart. Okay. And the Lord weighs the heart, not the flesh. We see that in Proverbs, which is to understand the other books of the Bible and the parables and the riddles and the sayings of the wise. Okay. So again, when the Egyptians see you, they will say, "This is his wife," then they will kill me, but will let you live. Say you are my sister, so that I will be treated well for your sake, and my life will be spared because of you. When Abram came to Egypt, the Egyptians saw that Sarai was a very beautiful woman, and when Pharaoh's officials saw her, they praised her to Pharaoh, and she was taken to his palace. He treated Abram well for her sake, and Abram acquired sheep and cattle, male and female donkeys, male and female servants, and camels. But the Lord inflicted serious diseases on Pharaoh and on his household because of Abram's wife Sarai. So Pharaoh summoned Abram. "Why have you done this? What have you done to me?" he said. "Why didn't you tell me she was your wife? Why did you say she is my sister, so that I took her to be my wife? Now then, here is your wife. Take her and go. Then Pharaoh gave orders about Abram to his men, and they sent him on his way with his wife and everything he had. So notice, Pharaoh has a similar scale. He thinks that the serious diseases that afflicted him, okay, that were inflicted on by God, were inflicted on him by the spiritual realm one way or another. Okay? And as he thinks that, he says, here's your wife back. He said, why didn't you tell me this? What have you done to me? Right? He's referring to the diseases that he's suffering from. Okay? And there's spiritual diseases and so on and so forth. So we see that the Egyptians have a religion that is nearly identical to the Jews. Okay? Just like the Pharisees' religion in many ways was nearly identical to Christ's religion in Matthew 23, for example, in the New Testament. And so it is with Judaism and Christianity and all monotheistic religions being nearly identical to each other. And so what shows us what is what? It goes back to 1 Samuel 17, right? This day I will strike you down and cut off your head, and the whole world will know that there's a God in Israel. Why? Because it's a culmination of martial art principles that show you who's better than who's right, who's the master teacher. And I hate to use a kind of cheesy example to help some of you who are more kind of shallow understand. Think about it in Star Wars, right? When Darth Vader is approaching Obi-Wan Kenobi in one of the first Star Wars movies, he says, when I first came to you, I was but the learner, and now I am the master. Now, why does he say now I'm the master? He's saying he's the master of life and the spiritual realm, so he's about to strike down Obi-Wan Kenobi. And Obi-Wan Kenobi says only a master of evil, Darth, and eventually lets him strike him down in a sense, or he disappears, or what have you. Okay, the argument being made is a martial art argument. This isn't just for people who do martial arts in China or Africa. This is an argument that's in religion, it's in movies, it is pervasive, it's there subtly and otherwise all throughout society. It is universal.